In Japan, there is a manga that became famous not because of a hero, a battle, or a love story, but because readers believed it had predicted the future. The book is called The Future I Saw. Its author, Ryo Tatsuki, was a female manga artist born in 1954. She drew manga mainly from the mid-1970s until 1999, then retired from public life. For years, the book was obscure. Then, after the 2011 Great East Japan earthquake and tsunami, people noticed something strange on the cover of her 1999 manga. It was a warning about a major disaster in March 2011. That single detail transformed an out-of-print comic into an object of fascination, fear, and speculation. The story became even intense because the book was difficult to find. After 1999, copies were no longer easily available, and secondhand price reportedly climbed to extraordinary levels. People were not only interested in the March 2011 message, they wanted to know what else was inside. The book is said to collect 15 dreams that readers later interpreted as predictions. Some seemed to match real events, some were unclear, some had not happened. Because the original book was rare, rumors spread quickly. Fake summaries appeared online. People argued about what the dreams meant. Eventually, even people pretending to be Ryo Tatsuki began answering questions in her name.
What makes The Future I Saw unusual is that it is not presented like a normal fictional manga. It is closer to a dream diary in comic form. Tatsuki said she did not consider herself a psychic in the usual sense, but she had dreams that seemed to connect to future events. She began recording dreams in 1976 when she was 22 years old. At first, the purpose was practical. As a manga artist, she wanted to preserve strange dream images as inspiration for future stories. Only later did she begin to feel that some of the dreams resembled events that happened in real life. The manga became a record of those dreams, their dates, and the later events readers connected to them.
The most famous example is the March 2011 disaster. In her dream diary, Tatsuki reportedly had a dream on March 11, 1996. In the dream, she saw a disaster connected to March 2011, but not the exact day or location. In the original 1999 book, the cover did not say East Japan, it only pointed to a major disaster in March 2011. After the real earthquake and tsunami struck on March 11, 2011, readers looked back and saw the resemblance. The connection was not perfect, and it should not be treated as scientific proof of prophecy, but emotionally the match was powerful. A date written years earlier seemed to line up with one of Japan's most devastating disasters. Several other dreams helped build the legend. In 1976, Tatsuki dreamed that Freddie Mercury, the lead singer of Queen, died from a contagious illness. 10 years later, she reportedly dreamed again of Queen with the singer absent and represented by a statue. 5 years after that, in November 1991, Freddie Mercury died from complications related to AIDS. Another dream dated August 31, 1992, was later connected by readers to the death of Princess Diana on August 31, 1997, exactly 5 years later. In another case, she dreamed in 1982 of a Japanese rock singer's death before that singer had even debuted. 10 years later, the musician Yutaka Ozaki died at only 26. Patterns like 5 years, 10 years, and 15 years became part of the mystery, but the pattern was not perfectly consistent. One dream came only 15 days before the event. On January 2, 1995, Tatsuki reportedly dreamed that the ground split open in Kobe. On January 17, 1995, the Great Hanshin earthquake struck. That same day, she also dreamed of retiring around the year 2000, and she did retire after publishing The Future I Saw in 1999. A third dream from that period described an unknown virus appearing in Japan around 2020. Readers later connected that dream to the COVID-19 pandemic, although some details such as the disease fading away after April did not fully match reality. There is also one unresolved detail. The dream supposedly said the virus would return about 10 years later, around 2030. Looking from 2026, that part cannot be judged yet. It remains a claim in the story, not a scientific forecast. Not every dream in the book is easy to interpret. Some are personal and impossible for outsiders to verify. Some are fragments, like a paper with the numbers 99.8.2 written in the corner, with no clear meaning.
Another dream showed the Japanese words connected to memorial services held years after a death. Tatsuki herself did not always claim to understand what these images meant. That detail matters. The manga's power comes partly from ambiguity. A dream image can sit quietly for years. Then, after something happens, people look backward and search for a match. The more mysterious the image is, the more meanings people can attach to it. A few other dreams remained unresolved for years. One was a tsunami in Yokohama seen in a dream from the summer of 1981. Tatsuki reportedly saw an early morning clock around 5 o'clock and then a wave swallowing the area. Another was a dream from August 1991 in which Mount Fuji erupted violently. Japan treats Mount Fuji as an active volcano, and it has not erupted since 1707, so concerns about a future eruption are real from a disaster preparedness point of view. But a dream is not a scientific forecast. The important distinction is that Japan can prepare for earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions because the risks are real, not because a comic gives an exact date. Then came the most famous new warning in the complete edition, July 2025. The 2021 expanded version of The Future I Saw included a message saying that the true disaster would come in July 2025. Tatsuki reportedly had a frightening dream on July 5, 1999, shortly after the original book was released. In the dream, she saw the ocean between Japan and the Philippines from above. The seabed seemed to split open, magma rose into the sky, and a massive tsunami spread outward. She later had a similar dream again in 2021, this time connected to July 2025. Some people interpreted this as July 5, 2025. Others connected it to her separate dream of her own funeral on July 15th. Looking back after July 2025, we can say this carefully. The exact catastrophic scenario described in the rumor did not unfold as feared on July 5th. The prophecy still caused real-world panic before that date, with travel cancellations and public anxiety in parts of East Asia. Scientists and Japanese authorities repeatedly warned that earthquakes and tsunamis cannot be predicted with exact dates using current science. Later in July 2025, a major earthquake off Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula triggered tsunami warnings in affected Japan's northern areas, but that was not the same as the specific Japan-Philippines seabed disaster described in the manga rumor. In other words, the prophecy became a cultural event even where the prediction itself remained unproven. Another strange part of the story is the fake Ryo Tatsuki. After the manga became famous, someone created an online account claiming to be the author and interacted with fans for years. A publisher eventually contacted this account to make a new edition of the book. The impersonator agreed and even invented additional dreams. Only later did the real Tatsuki contact the publisher and explain that she had never agreed to such a project. The confusion was possible because the real author lived privately and was not active online. She reportedly used handwritten notebooks and did not understand social media well. After the deception was discovered, she helped the publisher prepare the real, complete edition using her original dream diaries. That complete edition changed the story again. It included more material from Tatsuki's notebooks and helped make the book a bestseller. It also gave readers a new cover to examine. Fans studied small differences between the 1999 version and the complete edition. The girl's eye, the missing tear, changes to her face, changes to the palm lines, and the red warning strip about July 2025. Some people connected these details to manga symbolism, such as the idea that one eye represents the past and the other the future. Whether those readings were intended or not, the cover became part of the mythology. The book was no longer just a manga. It had become a puzzle people wanted to decode. The deeper question is why stories like this spread so easily. Part of it is fear. Disasters are terrifying because they arrive without warning, so a story that seems to offer advanced knowledge feels powerful. Part of it is pattern seeking. When a dream is vague, people can connect it to many possible events after the fact. And part of it is hope. If the future can be glimpsed, maybe danger can be avoided. Tatsuki's story sits exactly between those feelings. It is fascinating, but it also shows why we need caution. A dream diary can be meaningful as a personal record. A manga can become a cultural phenomenon, but public safety should rely on science, preparedness, and trusted emergency information, not panic. In the end, The Future I Saw is less interesting as proof of prophecy than as a story about how humans treat uncertainty. One retired manga artist recorded her dreams. Years later, readers found echoes of real events in them. Then the internet amplified every mystery, every warning, every rumor, and even created a fake version of the author. The result was part folklore, part pop culture, part disaster anxiety. Maybe some dreams really do feel strangely connected to the future. Maybe memory, coincidence, and interpretation do more work than we realize. Either way, the book reminds us of something simple. When the future feels unknowable, people will search for signs anywhere, even in the pages of an old manga.